Hello, everybody. Welcome to another video or another episode of the Monolo podcast, depending on where you are listening or watching from. It can be on YouTube or even on Spotify. This is a video where I was invited to at a conference called Mastering AI Like the Top 1%, and I was opportune to speak on using AI strategically. So this is a video where I shared strategies and I shared insights and ideas on how we as designers, business owners, we can be able to use AI strategically to get the actual results you're looking for, to get purposeful results, and to get actionable results, and to get results that create an impact. So listen, watch, and make sure to subscribe wherever you're listening or watching from. Cheers.
Welcome, everybody, to this session. I'll be talking about using AI strategically, where we can be able to use AI to create something impactful and be among the top 1%. So, my name is Oluebubechukwu. I'm a brand and visual designer. I own a design agency called Outfit Creative Agency based here in Benin City, Edo State. So, if you're residing in Benin or you're a student of Uniben World, let's try and find some time to hook up or to meet up or to try and hang out, okay? But all the same, yeah. I also run a design school called Big's Creative Academy, where we help designers to kickstart, where we help individuals to kickstart their design journey. We have courses ranging from graphic design courses, visual identity design courses, UI UX, and web design. And I also work at three 9 to 5 remote jobs as their lead designer and brand design partner. So this is just the little things about me. But yeah, I think I'm making too much noise now. So let's just jump right in. So I'm going to start with this little bit of I won't really call it a quote, but something that we need to put in our mind, or we need to have at the back of our mind while we are diving straight into this session. And that is, are we just using AI or are we using it well? You see, I know many of us might understand this statement, but at the same time, many of us might not be able to also understand the statement. Now, what am I trying to say here? Are we just using AI or are we using it well? Many of us, we are very conversant with almost all of the AI tools that are coming out. For every new AI tool that come out, we are kind of aware. Some of us are subscribed to newsletters that keeps us updated. Some of us are subscribed to YouTube channels that keeps us updated. Some of us follow some of these people on Instagram that keeps us updated on each AI new tool that's right there in the market. So, but the truth is that are we actually using it well? When you go into ChatGPT to use ChatGPT for whatever you want to use it for, are you using it well, or are you just using it because it is a tool that is already available for you to use? So this little statement should be at the back of our mind while we go into that. Now, using AI strategically means going beyond playing around with prompts and filters. Okay, so what is it really about when you are trying to use AI strategically? What does it feel about? Because many people have this idea that it's all about prompting. As long as you can prompt, well, you can then use AI. But the truth is that it needs to have, number one, intentionality. You need to be intentional about why you're using that AI or why you're using a particular AI tool. Don't just use an AI tool because it is available for you to use. There need to be some sort of intentionality. Many of us who are creatives right now, we have lost the sense of being a creative because we have lost intentionality towards the purpose of, towards using AI. And that leads me to number two, purpose. You need to have a purpose you're using AI, which means if the purpose for using AI is something that you can do by yourself ordinarily, then why should you use AI? There need to be a purpose. They have to be a purpose. You can't just use AI for the sake of just using AI, right? You shouldn't use it because the tool is available. You use it because ask yourself, what if this tool was not available? What would I have done? At least many of us were designers before 2021, 2022, when ChatGPT came into existence, right? So why is it all of a sudden it now feels like we are now lazy? We are not creatively lazy. So it needs to have purpose. So you need to have intentionality. You need to also have what purpose. And secondly, it needs to be aligned. The purpose of using AI or the reason why you want to use AI should align with what you're using it for. You shouldn't use AI because you just want to use AI. Like I've been saying earlier, you shouldn't use AI because it is available. You should use AI because it aligns to the goal and the reason why you want to make use of it. Or it should align to whatever you're using it for. So if you're using it to brainstorm, don't just let the AI do all of the brainstorming for you. Use part of the AI to align with what you're doing. Don't let the AI define the direction you're going with, but rather allow yourself to define the direction that the AI should go. Many of us will flip up the coin. Chris Du made a statement. I was watching a video of Chris Du this afternoon, a bit today, and he posted a video and he made a statement. Many of us have flipped the coin. We are supposed to decide the direction the AI is supposed to go and not the other way around. But unfortunately, now we find ourselves in a place where many of us decide, sorry, the AI decide for us how the direction of our creativity should go. And that is really wrong. So it needs to align. There needs to be a sort of an alignment. Then the second one is it's about using AI in a way that moves your work, your brand, or your business forward. So if you're using AI and it is not moving your brand forward, then there's no point. You need to use see, despite the amount of AI tools that comes out that are coming out, you can still see that businesses are still in need of designers. Businesses are still in need of creative because regardless of whatever, no matter how powerful AI is, there's always going to be that creative human touch, that creative human spices that need to be sprinkled. But unfortunately, we are finding ourselves in situations whereby that is not happening. So we need to make sure that our AI tools is either moving our work, it is moving our brand, or it is moving our business forward. So if you're a designer, ensure that using AI tools is moving your work forward. It is helping you to be better, not making you to be lazy or less creative. There are two things. Being less creative is different from being lazy and it's different from helping you work better. Okay. Then the last one, it is about multiplying what is possible. So if like me now, I'm not a Photoshop person. For those of you who know me, you know that I create all of my designs in Figma, right? For those of you who really know me, you know that I create all of my designs. I do them in Figma. I don't do them in Photoshop. I don't do them in any other software that you may know. I do them in Figma, except for logo designs that I do in either CorelDRAW or let me just say CorelDRAW is my logo designs. Yeah. Except for logo designs that I do in CorelDRAW. But once I'm done with that CorelDRAW logo design, I export it as an SVG file, import it into Figma, and I do every other thing inside of Figma, from mood board, sorry, from the coloring, like applying the brand colors and everything down to the brand guidelines. I do everything inside of Figma, including even designing, creating the designs I will use for mockups. I do that inside of Figma. So I'm not a Photoshop person, which means I don't know how to do photo manipulation. But that doesn't mean that now with AI, I can't do photo manipulation. So it helps me to multiply what's possible. So if there are some things that I need to do, but because I am limited of my skills when it comes to Photoshop based on photo manipulation, now I now have AI tools to help me to carry out some photo manipulation that I can bring back into my Figma and finish up the design there. So it needs to be able to multiply what is possible, not helping you to kickstart the possibility of your creativity, but it should be able to amplify what your creativity can already make possible. I don't know if you guys understand that statement. AI isn't a tool you should use to kickstart the possibility of what you can create, but it should be used to amplify and increase what your creativity has already made possible. So make sure that your AI tool is something that you can use to make things possible. So just in case you didn't get that, maybe I need to repeat that quote again. For those of you who might want to write it down, and for those of you who might want to jot it down. So let me repeat that quote again. AI isn't a tool that you should use to make something possible or to kickstart the possibility of your creativity, but rather use AI to make what you create, to increase and to expand or to multiply what your creativity has already made possible. Okay, so that is basically it. So don't see AI as a tool that you should use to kickstart the possibility of your creativity, but use it to multiply what your creativity has already made possible. Now, so anyway, this is just the intro. I think I've spent a lot of time just discussing about the intro. So let me just go straight into it. So why strategy beats speed in AI? So yes, AI has helped you to can help you to speed up your process. AI can help you to speed up certain things, but then why is strategy better than speed? Right? Why is strategy better? Now, number one, but before we go into that, you can see that I wrote here, say AI can help you to do things faster, but faster does not always mean better. And here's why. So just because AI can help you to carry out a task faster does not mean that it does it better. Of course, AI can help you to design, but that does not mean that it's a design that you might want to use. A design that you would have spent an hour or 2 hours to create, AI could be able to speed it out in 5 minutes or in 3 minutes or in 10 minutes. But does that mean that it is a design that you can actually want to use out there? Of course not. So now why? So the top 1% of people that use AI do this. So this is their drive. Number one, it helps them for better decision making. So now, but before you can make a decision, or before you can allow AI to enable you or to assist you in making decisions, you need to first of all have the decisions ready. Maybe you have 5 decisions. You are trying to, you're just trying to wonder what direction you need to go. Now, when you lay out your decisions, your different decisions, and the insights behind them, the explanations, the ideology, the ideas behind your decisions, you can table it before AI, and maybe it will not help you to speed up the process. Now, something that you would have spent hours or even days to come to a conclusion. Now you've laid out everything in detail because it is still your creativity, but you've laid it out in detail. AI cannot be able to filter out everything that you've laid out and help you to choose the best course of action to take. And you still need to go back and do what? Imply sharper insights. What does it mean? Now, in as much as AI has helped to pick out the best decision to take, you still need to implement your own creativity to understand that, okay, that's why AI picked out this thing. There must surely be some reasons why it picked that. You cannot ask it further and say, okay, what were the key reasons why you picked out this particular option? It will give you more insights, more ideologies, more breakdowns as to why that's the better option. Or even if it gives you that, you can still go further and say, okay, what makes it better than the rest? What were the things that made the other decisions or the other ideas or the other options to fall short? And AI will give you those things. It gives you sharper insight. And then the next one is smarter workflows. With AI, you can be able to work faster, you can be able to work smarter, you can be able to generate ideas faster or quicker. But it doesn't mean that these ideas are totally generated by the AI. But you have to feed it something. See, there's a way AI works, right? AI works with you feed it and it gives you something, it's like is it the third law of motion? For those of us who are physics students, the third law of Newton's third law of motion that for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So whatever you give to the AI, okay, is going to be quantified by what AI is going to give back to you is going to be determined by what you give to it. So if you are not creative with your input, AI's output won't be creative. So you need to first of all be creative to give it something for it to give you a smarter workflow. The next one is clearer creative direction. Now, what does it mean by clearer creative direction? Now, it still boils down to kind of better decision making. So let's say you have this idea in your head, right? You have this idea in your head and you don't know how to put the pieces together. Now, it's all about working faster, but better, right? It's all about how you can make AI to do things faster, but not just faster, but doing it better. But in order for you to be able to, to gain something better from AI, despite it has worked faster, is when you implement your own side of your creativity. Now, what does this simply mean? It means that AI works fast, but if you want the output to be better or you want the end results to be better, you need to implement your own creativity. That is what brings in the betterness. That's what brings in not just the fastness, but makes it better. So now, when you have all of these ideas in your head, it will help you to map out the best clear creative direction that you need to take. So let's say you're working on a logo design, for example, now, right? And you have these ideas in your head. You can just thank God that ChatGPT now has an audio format, so you don't need to type everything. You can just be talking to it like your therapist, that kind of a thing. Just turn on the microphone option in ChatGPT and spill out everything you want to spill out to it, and it will record it down, turn it into a text, and you can give it to it. So let's say you have all of these logo ideas in your head, and you don't know the best decision to make, or maybe you've already sketched out the logos. You've sketched out the logo ideas, for example, right? You vectorize them. But you're looking, maybe you want to give. Let me run a scenario in your head. So let's say you're contracted by a client to design a logo, right? And you've designed the logo, and maybe according to your deliverables, you have to give the client 2 samples, but you're able to create four logo design samples, and you don't know which of the best two samples you need to present to the client. Now, what do you do? Now, this is where you can use AI to fasten the process. It's not like you couldn't have done it yourself, but making that decision of the best two to give to the client would have taken you hours, extra hours to come to a conclusion, or maybe taking you to the next day to come to a conclusion, or a couple of days to come to a conclusion of the best two options to send to the client. But with AI now, you can just take a picture of the four, like you can maybe save the four samples and then upload it into ChatGPT, for example, then write down your analysis, the ideas behind each of the samples. And what will happen is that will, what will happen is that ChatGPT will take those things that you've already given to it, that is those ideas, everything that you've already submitted to it, ChatGPT will collect everything, analyze it for you, and then select the best two options you need to present to the client. Now, this is what it means to enable, to aid you or to assist you in clearer creative direction. So now, one thing to note about the top 1% of people that use AI is they don't just use AI just to save time, they use it to make time count. So don't see AI as oh, it wants to make me save time. No. Make sure that the time it is saving you is not the time that you end up still spending again. Because it is one thing for AI to save you time, and it's one thing for you to still come back and spend that time because you didn't use the AI properly. So make sure that the time it is saving you is time that we actually count at the end of the day. Because what is the point of AI saving you time if you are still going to come back and do that thing again? So be very mindful. So while we have been able to settle the, how the top 1%, how they use AI, let's look at let's look at the three core pillars of strategic AI usage. So when you want to make use of AI, what are some of the strategic places you need to make use of AI? Number one is clarity of purpose. You need to make sure that you know the why of you using AI. Know why you're using AI. Now, is it to solve a specific problem, to streamline a process, or to generate ideas? Know why you are using AI. So first of all, have a clarity of purpose. So before you open ChatGPT tomorrow, or you open Google Gemini, or you open Google Image FX to generate images, whatever AI that you are mostly using, even if it's the Meta AI in your WhatsApp, but whatever AI platform you want to use, before you start using it, ensure that you have a clarity of purpose as to why you want to use that AI tool and the reason you want to make use of it. Then the next one is human AI collaboration. Don't just allow AI to do everything for you. So, like I wrote here, I said AI doesn't replace taste, creativity, or empathy. What it does is give your human intuition superpowers. Use it to support your thinking, not replace it. So make sure that you are collaborating with AI and not depending on AI. They are two different things. Ensure that you are collaborating with AI and not depending on AI. AI isn't your wheelchair. I do say this. People that have listened to my previous, sessions will know that I do say this a lot. AI isn't your wheelchair. So ensure that when you are using AI, use it for the purpose for which you are making use of it. AI isn't your wheelchair, so use it as a collaborator and not a dependent entity. Don't depend on it for everything. Oh, I want to design a logo for my client, generate logo ideas for me. If you generate the logo idea, you carry the logo idea, you submit to your client like that. Oh, I want you to help me with the caption. To give me the caption, you copy and paste. No, collaborate. As if you see AI like like your fellow designer that you're collaborating with on a project. The way you want to communicate with it, share your ideas with it, share options, share suggestions, and strategize. Do that. Then the other one is repeatable systems. So the top 1% use AI to build systems. They create prompt libraries, templates, automated workflows. It's not a one-time use, it's a structure they rely on daily. So, like I said, repeatable system. Make sure that you're using AI for repeatable things that is mundane. I don't know if you guys understand that particular phrase. Use AI for things that are ordinary. For example, now I use Figma AI background remover to remove backgrounds from my images. Now that is a repeatable thing because that's something that as a designer you get to do almost every time you are designing. You are always removing background. So why stress myself going through Photoshop to remove background or going through CorelDRAW's long process to remove background when I can just bring the image into Figma, tell the Figma AI that look, hey, just remove the background for me while I focus on other things. Now, background removal that would have taken me minutes to remove is going to just take me seconds to remove, no matter how delicate the background is. That's how powerful Figma AI background remover is now. No matter how delicate or complicated the background is, it will understand the subject you're about to remove the background for and remove the background from you in seconds. So those things are repeatable tasks because those things are not tasks that require you to even spend your creativity on. It's just background remover. So things like that, use your AI on. You want to change the color of somebody's shirt to a different color. Use AI for it. You don't need to spend your time going through Photoshop and be tinkering about finding how you're going to do one layer and one layer, how you're going to do the, duplicate this one and then change the color of the shirt of the person to match the design you're working on or to match the brand of the client you're working. Just use AI, give it the prompt. I also use that in Figma and Figma AI edit image, right? I just take in the image, tell it, okay, this purple area of the person's image, change it to this particular color of the. It does it within seconds, and I focus on doing other things in my design. Those things are repeatable tasks, right? Because those things are not things that I need to spend my time on. They are not things that require creativity to do. Because the creativity is that I already know that this color of this person's shirt will not match the design I'm working for or I'm working on. So I need to change the color to something that will match the design. That is already my creativity thinking because I've already understood, but creativity, I've already know that this color of this person's shirt will not work. So I need to change the person's shirt to the color that will match. So now that's my creativity talking. Now I just need to use AI to automate that particular task. That is the collaboration aspect of things. And that is also define the clarity because now I know why I want to use the AI is to solve a specific problem. And what was my problem at that moment? My problem at that moment was to change the color of the person's shirt to match the design I am working on. And I've solved that problem. Through clarity of purpose, human AI collaboration, and understanding that I need to use it for repeatable what task. That is it for that. So, what are some of the strategic areas where AI can be a game changer, both for creatives and for individuals alike? Now, number one, for designers and creatives, we can use AI for brainstorming. And you can use tools like ChatGPT to do that. You can also use AI for to speed up your designs. Okay, like you can use some AI power tools. You can see many UI designers, many of these UI UX designers using some powerful UI tools to help them to create, onboarding pages or just help them create the workflow of how the app should be. They can just go there, give it a prompt and say, okay, I want to create an app for a fintech, for a banking. This thing. Just give me an idea of the onboarding screen, and AI will speed out some things that can kickstart your creativity, that can help you to to kickstart the flow of the idea you're trying to create. So we've seen a lot of designers do that, and then using ChatGPT to simplify design briefs. So you can maybe a client gave you a brief, and maybe the brief somehow the brief is confusing. You don't understand, you're not making sense of the brief. And maybe you don't want to stress the client through with clarity sessions. In as much as I will advise you to do that, because I do that. If a client sends me a brief, whether for a branding project or for a flyer project, and I don't understand what you want me to do, I will tell you that please, can I schedule a call with you? We'll have a call. Maybe it can be a 30-minute session, a 45-minute session, or even an hour. But the maximum is an hour anyway. Because what are we talking about? Yeah, I'm not dating you. I'm not married to you. So why should I waste my time trying to spend a lot of but depending anyway, but I do try to keep it within an hour. So I have a crisis session where I get to ask you specific questions and around the areas that I don't understand. But we both know that sometimes we are not going to meet clients who would want to give us that time. So in situations like that where a client has given you that design brief and you can't just really make sense of it, there's some things that are not clear to you, it's not understandable enough. You can just upload that brief to ChatGPT and ask it to simplify it for you in a way that you would understand and be able to. And from there, you can even collaborate with it on brainstorming on possible ideas on how to tackle the brief. Yeah, so now that is it for designers and creatives. So what about for entrepreneurs and brands? That is businesses, people who owns business owners, entrepreneurs, brands and businesses. How can they use AI strategically? Number one is to automate content creation across platforms. So you can used AI to help you to automate your content creation platform. Like maybe, oh, what kind of content should I post on TikTok, or what kind of content should I post on Instagram, that kind of a thing. And there's some AI tools that helps to post around all of the social media platforms. Like I think Canva even has an AI tool that can help you to generate content and help you to distribute it along across your social media platform. And some other powerful AI tools like even some agents, they call them AI agents that help you to automate things. They help you to reply your emails and stuff like that. So yeah, then you can also use AI as a business owner or as an entrepreneur or as a brand or as a business to build, building AI chatbots for customer support. So many of us we go to some website and we get to chat with their AI chatbots while before they bring in a human to actually interact with you. So as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you can have AI chatbot that can help you. For example, now for those of us who use UBA, I don't know, you guys should be aware of this UBA Leo, if I'm not mistaken, right? For those of us who use UBA Bank, we should be aware of UBA. That's Leo. That you can either chat with it on Instagram, you can chat with it on even Facebook Messenger, and even on WhatsApp, right? So now that is an example of how business owners. So now that they are with that process now, they've been able to create a chatbot that can help you to be able to make transfers and be able to do things easier and faster. You don't need to open the mobile app anymore or even go to banks, to their bank to make transfers or even to, either make transfers and stuff like that. So you just need to open your WhatsApp, chat with Leo and do what they want to do. And you can see that it's fully automated. That is an example of, what you can do with AI as a business owner. Then then another way is forecasting trends using data insights from AI. So as a business owner, you can use it to determine what is going to lie ahead. For example, now you can go online now. For example, you can go on ChatGPT, maybe after this session for designers. You can also do this as designers. You can go on ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT, what are the possible design trends that will be coming in 2026? Now, with this, you can be able to have an idea of design trends that will be coming up in 2026 and how you can prepare. And when you ask AI, it can give you the list of possible trends that will come up in 2026 in the design industry. And you can go further and ask it, okay, how can I get myself prepared so that I don't get left behind? And it could give you an idea or some ideas on how you can be able to stay ahead of the curve and remain relevant in the design industry. So these are things that you can do. So business owners can also do it and be like, oh, let's say you are maybe a catering business. You can be like, what is the best way to make healthy cakes in this modern era? Now, the AI will suggest some ingredient that you should stop using and some ingredient that you should start using so that you can create a more healthy cake in this modern era. Now, with this, you're able to stay ahead, you're able to forecast the future and be able to stay ahead of the future. Okay, so that is basically how you can do this. Now, for coaches and creators, you can use to create custom learning journeys for your students. So let's say because every student, for example, if you're a coach like me or a mentor like me, we have different students with different problems, right? They all have different problems, they have different issues. Now we can use AI to create custom learning journeys for each of them. So all you need to do is to first of all get the problem that these students have, analyze it, feed it to ChatGPT, and to prepare a custom-made learning process for each of these students. So you don't need to be cracking your head, stressing yourself, trying to come up with individual learning system for each of them. With ChatGPT, you can do this easily. Then the next one is turning transcripts into courses, books, or content. So yes, let's say you recorded a session or maybe a podcast, for example. Now you can download the audio, give it to AI to give you the transcript, like turn it into from voice to text. Use that text to create to and convert it into books or courses or content or even a blog post. So these are things that AI can. So instead of you stressing yourself to say, oh, how can I convert this my podcast episode now to a blog post? Or how can I convert my blog post to a podcast? Or how can I convert my Instagram reels or the scripts that I use for my Instagram reel? How can I convert it to a full blog post or to a full podcast episode? With AI now, you can actually easily transform these things, by yourself. And the last one is using AI to simulate potential user client behavior. So, for example, now you are targeting a particular market, but you don't know how they behave in that market. So, let's say, for example, now you are a fashion designer, right? Who you already know how to sew clothes for the Easterners, for the Igbo people, right? And now you happen to relocate to the North. And you're trying to understand how the Northerners love their fashion to be done. Now, with AI, you can be able to ask AI to that, okay, see, oh, I'm a fashion designer who is more specialized in Igbo attires or Yoruba attires, right? And I just relocated to the northern part of Nigeria. And I'm kind of skeptical and I'm not used to the way they do fashion here. Could you help me with strategies that could enable me to understand my new audience who are northerners and the possible kind of fashion that they would like? Now, AI could pull up histories. People have already done articles online. People have shared insights and shared ideas and shared stories. Now With the history of the Northerners, AI could be able to pull up some information that can help you to adapt to the new environment that you find yourself in so that you can satisfy your customers easily. So these are ways that you can use AI very well. So how can you build AI or how can you build an AI strategy that works? Okay. So if you want to build, because you're talking about, AI strategy, AI strategy. So how can you build an AI strategy that can actually work for you? So number one, you need to define your intent. Just like what I said earlier, you need to be intentional. So, what is the reason? What is the purpose? What is the why? Why do you want to use AI? Right? What purpose do you want to use the AI for? So, once you're able to define your intent or your reason, then the next one is choose the right tools. Not all AI tools are meant for you. You don't need to be jumping from one AI tool to the other. Right? There are some AI tools that I use that I only use them for a specific thing. I don't use ChatGPT to generate images. One, it takes a lot of time to generate one single image. So I use Google Image Effects to generate my images. And every image you see me use in maybe for clients or not all images, but most images that I use for clients' designs and even for myself, I do generate them using Google Image Effects. Now that's the only reason that's the only point, that's the only place I use the app for, or I use that AI to. Then I use ChatGPT for more text-based things. I use ChatGPT for text-based things, right? Then I use, I think there's an AI tool that I also use for audio. I think that is Google Notebook LM. Google Notebook LM. So I use that one for textbooks things, like sorry, for voice things, like just to help me analyze the book, convert it into a conversational audio for me to be able to listen to and digest that particular thing properly. So choose the right tools. Not all. You don't need to jump. You don't need to use all AI tools because the truth is that you can never. Do you know how many AI tools are out there in the market? And the funny thing is that the more you think you have known about these AI tools that are out there in the market, the less you even know about them. So choose the right tools. You don't need to use all tools, but just choose the right ones that fit into your what? Your intent. Then the next one is test and tweak. Don't just copy and paste. Oh, ChatGPT has given me this answer. I just copy and no. Go through it, digest it, change what needs to be changed, dissect what needs to be dissected, rephrase what needs to be rephrased. The most important thing is that, like I said, AI is a collaborator, not your wheelchair. So rephrase things, change what needs to be changed, test, tweak, and iterate. Very important. Then the next one is document your process. Don't just say, oh, okay, because the truth is that you might need that process in future for a similar project or for a similar task. So if you don't document your process on how you're able to achieve something good, you might not be able to know the process that you can use next time you encounter such a task again, and you might end up delivering rubbish. So it is very good you document your process. For me, one of those things you can document is your prompts. Don't just say, oh, you are giving it a prompt and that is the end. Save that prompt somewhere because a similar task might come up in future, and trying to come up with that exact prompt that gives you something excellent can be difficult. So but if you save that prompt somewhere, you can be able to use that prompt. You can repeatedly keep using that prompt. Sorry, that prompt. You can keep repeating using that prompt to give you something excellent all the time. So document your process. Then if you are doing something more intricate, like maybe you use AI to brainstorm a full brand identity design project, document the process. How did you start with it? Did you start from the brief? Did you start from dissecting the brief? Helping you decide the logo ideas to send to the client and all of that. Document your process. Very, very important. Now, we have to have some of the common mistakes that you need to avoid. Now that we've seen the strategies that can help you to, be one of the top 1% on how to use AI or in AI usage, what are some of the mistakes that you need to avoid? Number one, using AI without understanding the why. Like I always say, know the why. That is something that you cannot avoid. Always know why you're using AI. Number two, over automating your personality. It is very, very bad. And like I said, AI is an assistant. AI is a collaborator. AI is not your wheelchair. AI is not something you need to be dependent on. AI should be something that you need to use strategically. So don't allow AI to automate your personality. Very, very bad. Then the next one is copying others' prompts or outputs blindly. It's good. You see a good prompt out there, you copy it and you make use of it. Fine. No, there's no harm about it. But it is when you copy blindly that is where the harm is. So when you copy other people's prompt, let it serve as a source of inspiration, not a shortcut. Oh, I don't see prompt will go help me do this thing. And you just copy, you paste, and you go do your thing. No. Understand the prompt because how can you be able to understand how to prompt if you don't even know how other people do prompts? So see how somebody have prompted their stuff. For me, people see my prompts and they be like, oh, more, Mr. Lu, you can prompt a lot. I'll tell them, look, you can prompt even better than me. You just need to calm down. and learn. It's that simple. Okay, now you are hailing my prompt. What are you hailing my prompt for? You say it's too detailed. But if I ask you now, you go and prompt that you cannot prompt. All you want to do is to copy my prompt and go and use that. But what if you can be able to create your own prompt? All you just need to do is study my prompt, see how I did my prompting. So that tomorrow when you want to do your own prompting, you will say, okay, I learned this type of solo. What if I do it like this in my own way? From there, you've created your own unique kind of prompting. So don't just copy and paste. Rather, see people's prompts, copy it, study it, analyze it, and add your twist to it so that you can create something that is uniquely your own. Then the last one is neglecting creativity. Like I wrote, I said, don't let AI kill your originality. Use it to stretch your mind, not shrink it. So AI should be a means of expanding your creativity, not a means to limit your creativity. So never you neglect your creativity when you're using AI. Never you depend on AI just because, oh, it is available for you to use. No, rather use it strategically to do what? To expand and stretch your creativity, not to limit or shrink your creativity. So now here's a little take home for you guys. AI isn't here to replace creatives. It is here to replace creatives who refuse to evolve. Once again, I repeat, AI isn't here to replace creatives. It is here to replace creatives who refuse to evolve. So, as designers, I implore you, as I urge you guys to try as much as possible to ensure that you use AI strategically. I've shown you guys most of the strategies that you can use. I've explained to you guys the strategies you can use. Make sure you use AI strategically. Don't just use AI blindly. Don't use AI because the tool is there for you to use. Don't just use AI because other people are using AI. Before you carry AI and start to use in your design workflow, in that particular project or that particular task, ensure you're using it for the right reasons. Okay? Thank you guys for being with me today. I thank you all for allowing me make noise I'm making in your ears tonight, for giving me the opportunity to talk to you, to explain to you, and to share the little knowledge that I have with you, that I have to share with you guys. It's been a pleasure, and thank you so much. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you.